Okay. Hi, everyone. Should I just get started? So, 6 o'clock. Thank you for joining us. My name's Hannah Presley, and I am a curator and member of the board here at Agency. Thank you for tuning in tonight for more of our Untold series. So, I'm joining you tonight from my home, the place where I live and work here on Wurundjeri country. And I'd like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people of the Eastern Kulin and pay my respects to their elders past and present. It is an absolute privilege to live on their beautiful lands, and I'm more aware of this than ever after the glorious sunshine that we had today here in Melbourne. So Untold is a series of talks bringing Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander creatives together to talk, listen, and share their knowledge, experience, histories, culture, and ideas. This new series of online talks celebrates some of the winners of this year's Telstra National Indigenous Art Awards. It's a difficult time out there, so I hope with all of us or many of us in lockdown, I hope that this talk will be a lovely reprieve as we're joined with two extraordinary women who I'd like to introduce to you now. So tonight we're joined by Kyra Mancktelow, a Quandamooka artist with links to the Mardigan people of Cunnamulla, and she was also the winner of the Emerging Art Award at this year's Telstra's. Kyra's practice includes printmaking, ceramics and sculpture, employing local materials such as clay, feathers and talwalpin or cotton tree to share the stories of her culture and strengthen her connection to country. A recent graduate from Queensland College of Arts Contemporary Australian Indigenous Art Program, Kyra was also a finalist at the 2021 Emerging Churchy Art Prize. Congratulations, Kyra. That's super cool.
Oh, thank you.
So tonight, Kyra will be speaking with Ngugi curator and scholar Freja Carmichael, who belongs to the Quandamooka people of Moreton Bay. Freya has worked alongside First Nations artists and communities over the past decade, both nationally and internationally, with a focus on First Nations communities, fibre practices and cultural exchange. Freya is currently undertaking a PhD at the University of Queensland, where she continues to work as an independent curator, arts writer and arts worker. So awesome lineup, but before I hand it over, please keep in mind that you can type in a question during the talk into the Q&A chat box and I'll share them at the end. So thanks everyone for being here. I'm going to hand it over to Freya and Kyra and I'll see you at the end of the talk.
Thanks, Hannah, for your introduction. I just realised it's 6 o'clock and everybody has jumped online all around me, so sorry if my internet goes a bit in and out. But I am speaking on Yagara country and Turrbal country, and I would like to pay my respects to past and present custodians of this land where I live and work. And I would also like to acknowledge the country from where you are all tuning in, and I'd also like to pay my deep respects to my Quandamooka elders and ancestors. It's such a pleasure to be yarning here with my Quandamooka cuz, Kyra. And there are three clan groups that make up Quandamooka, the Nunakul, the Gurumpul and the Ngugi, and that's where we connect with the Ngugi people.
Yeah, lovely. I'd also like to pay respects to the Gurungrang and Turrbal people currently in Bundaberg. And yeah, I'd like to pay my respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging.
And so, Kyra, we were just so proud of you for winning the Emerging Artist Award at this year's National Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Art for your work, Moongalba. I saw the news being shared so widely in the community at the University of Queensland by Quandamooka, Yulibuliba, Aboriginal Corporation, and across our family and friends' social media. And we even had a joke this morning that it was broadcasted on billboards and buses, the big grapevine. But you do have your work on buses. Hey, I see them.
Yeah, one bus there.
Yeah, I see that bus going up and down the 199 from West End to Tenerife all the time. As always, the Telstras bring together such a collection of really important works from across country and experiences. And this year I was even more proud by the strong Quandamooka rep. Both you and my sister Lisa Jane Carmichael as a finalist. And yeah, that was pretty special too.
Yeah, I was going to Lisa about it, and I was so excited to have my work exhibited next to my cousin up in Darwin. So yeah, I was proper excited, eh?
And I think there was such a strong conversation between you and Lisi's work. Lisi's was looking a lot at the regeneration of cultural practices and the return of weaving on country, and your work, Moongalba, speaking about the resilience of people and knowledge and culture.
Yeah, that's it. It was both our works together was telling a story in itself, about Moongalba and our people on the island. So yeah.
Yeah. And maybe we should start with talking about the work of Moongalba and how it's a really important work bringing to the surface the colonial experiences of past generations around the missionary activity on Moongalba. It's such a story that many families from the island connect to. My grandmother's mother, my great-grandmother was born at the mission under the Queensland Aboriginal Protection Act, what we know as the Act, and like my family, many other Quandamooka families are linked to this history, and their stories and are passed on and remain so important today. And I just was going through my books this afternoon, and the Moongalba Mayora sitting down place, and it's such an important collection of elders' stories.
Yeah, no, exactly. Especially as an emerging artist, I always wanted to start telling stories and start from home. Growing up, like you said, my family would talk about Moongalba, and what I wanted to do was bring that history to light. It's so, well, growing up in school, no one spoke about the history of Indigenous people. So I really want to bring Moongalba to light, especially since it's a close connection to home. And really, I also read that book and really have our elders' voices heard and encourage people to go do their research and go read these books as well.
Yeah. So this book was compiled by Bernice Fisher, and it's just a really important collection of oral histories, and we, as Moongalba is often referred to as the sitting down place. I know we spoke about how this work also started with you sitting down and talking with elders, and
well, first I started talking to Uncle Bob, and I had a yarn with him, and just get from his word, and talk about Moongalba, and also other histories of Moongalba especially, and also just to get that permission to recreate these uniforms and do it in a respectful way.
So the work is uniform, and maybe we'll even talk about how you came to making those uniforms. You actually sewed them together, and in that research behind the uniforms.
Yeah, so started with a lot of research, and what I found is during 1896 there was a big change for the mission, because it went from the Act to more reformity school, and also other events happened that time as well. And what I found is with these uniforms especially, they had such a strong identity to them. And so I had to go through all these old images, and there was a really significant image there that really showed the uniforms. And also there was written documentation about how these uniforms looked and how it was one size fits all. And going through these archival images and just trying to figure out a pattern to recreate these uniforms, identical to how they were.
Yeah. And what were the uniforms made from? Did you when you were creating them?
Yeah, so the material I use to create them is tarlatan, and it's kind of like a cheesecloth. For all you printmakers out there, they know what tartan is. Traditionally, it's used to take away colour off an etching plate. So I wanted to use it as a metaphor of that attempt of assimilation, and that rubbing back that cultural identity, our culture, our traditions, and so it was. I really use it as a metaphor to represent that attempt of assimilation.
Yeah. And so that's sort of how you came to working with that tartan as well, Kyra. And that was discovered as well through a process of discovery with printmaking and seeing that metaphor.
Yeah, well, that's it. I was actually rubbing colour off the etching plate, and it kind of like all just rolled together.
Yeah.
Because that's what I thought about straight away. So significant. And from there, I did my research and created this body of work.
Yeah. And then when you've used the uniforms to create the etchings, it's just amazing how every detail has been picked up, all the loose fibres, and it's just not a single line is missed in your prints.
So well, that's the amazing thing with it. It was able to capture every single fibre of the uniforms and every single detail, which is perfect.
And then and something that really stands out to me in Moongalba as well is the dilly bag that's featured in with the uniforms, and it's weaving is such a special practice on Quandamooka, and something that we're really proud of today, and how it's become a really strong part of our contemporary expression of being Quandamooka people, and to have that dilly bag featured with the uniforms that speak of such a dark history and attempted assimilation and broken down.
That's it. And I really wanted to put that back into the print itself. It was important to put back these these cultures and these traditions back into the print and really have that representation.
And in some of your other works, where you've worked with the dilly bags as well, and we recently worked together on Carriers of Memory at the Museum of Brisbane, which acquired your work from your graduate show. And there was the dilly bag prints in that exhibition as well, and the handle, how it's using this towel and string handle, and how that's such a significant practice too from Quandamooka.
Exactly. With these dilly bag prints, I really wanted to talk about that adaptation all of us mob had to go through, especially since the act. And I know, like, my grandmother, she created these dilly bags, not using traditional fibers, but still being able to create dilly bags. And then so these prints represent that adaptation of contemporary materials, but also that introduction, bringing back those traditional fibers. So it's like.
Oh no, my internet keeps wavering in and out. You're just on that peak time. But I really love how there's such a strong fibre language today coming from Quandamooka as well, through all the different fibres, the Tawalpan and our special swamp reed Ungar.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's amazing, like, Anisan and Lisi, them being able to do these traditional practices and awakening these weaving practices. It's amazing, especially for us younger ones to be, being able to see it all.
And you mentioned earlier this morning that through the coverage of winning the Telstras and through being on billboards, that you've actually people have connected with Moongalba and reached out to you through people who also connected that history of Moongalba.
Yeah, I actually had a man reach out to me, and he told me that his great grandmother went to Moongalba, especially during 1896. She was called Granny Goodson, and yeah, so we connected after the lockdown. He came to the studio, and I showed him some of my works, talking about Moongalba, and it was amazing to hear his side of the story, and what his great grandmother and his grandmother went through. And yeah, right now we're just going through the process. He's sharing more information with me. Yeah, but it's amazing that he reached out and we were able to make that connection.
Yeah, and it's almost like this ongoing process of discovery too, and learning through telling this story and how more story is uncovered.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was excited about it, and can't wait to connect to more mob that reach out as well.
And alongside screen printing and etching, and we talked a bit about fibre and weaving. You also have been working in clay ceramic works too.
Yeah. No, yeah, I love ceramic work. I think it's that sense of working with your hands and being able to mold something to tell a story. Yeah, I love the feel of ceramics, and being able to involve weaving and ceramics together to, once again tell a story and bring that all together. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And does the story or the message you're telling guide which medium you'll use, or it just kind of comes quite inherently to?
Yeah, no, 100%. I feel I like to work with any medium that I think portrays the message better. Like with Moongalba, I felt print was an amazing form of documentation, and bringing acknowledgement to the history. With ceramics, you can tell another story. I currently have work called Born Under a Tree, and involving clay and fibers. For me, it tells my story through that medium.
And I'm thinking back to late last year, when we had such a beautiful day screen printing at the Griffith University Studios at the Contemporary Indigenous Australian Art Space. And I think that was myself and you and Lisi for the Quandamooka Festival project. And you were showing us, you were the master printmaker, showing us how it was done. And I've never been a student at Griffith, and but I really love visiting the studio space. And that day, Dylan was around, and Warriva Weatherall, and it was just such a lovely space for sharing. And I know that is a part of that space, just such a strong sense of community. Mm-hmm. And I was just thinking about as a graduate of the program, how has working there and sharing really inspired where you are today?
Oh, I would say all my practice, just being, like you said, just being in the presence of other Indigenous mob and being able to critique each other's work and share our stories, and also relate to each other's stories. It's my favorite thing. So currently doing honors, and so I'm still in that space of my peers and my friends, and being able to share my work, and also having them critique it. But yeah, Kai is an amazing space, and QCA, and with amazing studios and facilities that I get to work in.
Yeah, and a lot of amazing art graduates have come from there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so big year of doing your honours.
Yeah, doing my honours this year. Still carrying on the research with Moongalba, and it's really helped me to refine a lot of my research. especially like I said, reaching out to descendants. They're telling me information I never knew about.
Yeah.
And really bringing that all together to write exegesis. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. And so with doing your honours, it's you're creating a body of work, and then also quite a lot of documentation around that too. Is that right? Or...
Yeah, like I said, creating a body of work and having that research to back it up, and having them sit together. It's full on, but it's amazing, and I feel like it really lifts my work to another level.
Yeah. And that will be for the remainder of this year. You'll be doing your honours and
at the end of the year, there should be like a grad show. So just the year.
Yeah. We'll have to look out. Keep that end of the year.
Yeah, right. Touch wood. COVID settled down.
But it's all going well. That process of taking from graduating and then doing this deeper research, and it allows that time to think more deeply about your work. And
oh yeah, I love it. I love researching, so it's fitting in perfectly with everything.
And I know you're tuning in from Bundaberg, and so you're doing. We just had a question come through as well, asking about where's your current residency?
Yeah, it's at the Bundaberg Regional Gallery. I've been up here for the week. I've been cruising around with traditional owner, Dylan Sarah, and he's been taking me to, some significant places of the region. And I've been able to yarn to the other community, also see the South Sea Islander heritage as well as Indigenous, and get to create work based on how I feel and do a response to it all.
And so how long are you up and doing this residency for?
I leave tomorrow, unfortunately, but I've been up here for the week, and I'll be up again soon to bring back work and once again yarn and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, great. And aside from the honours and you were doing this residency, what other exciting projects are in the pipeline?
I don't know. Churchy's coming up soon at the IMA.
Oh yes, we haven't talked about that.
Yeah.
that came out around the same time as your the Telstra's, the big announcement. Yeah, so that's really significant. The Churchy at the Institute of Modern Art. Yeah,
so exciting. So actually, I'm pretty sure, I don't know the exact dates, but I know everything's going to be handed in soon. So that'll be a whole new body of work once again.
Yeah. So it's new work you're creating for the Churchy?
Yeah, it'll all be new work for the Churchy. Yeah. I guess, once again, textiles. I love textiles. So, and we're focusing on a different concept through textiles.
Yeah. And we just had I think another question has come through around workshops with your art practice as well, Kyra. I know you were so helpful when we were doing that day of screen printing. Is that something you also do, workshops with young people? And
I recently done a printmaking workshop with the Logan Art Gallery. I haven't really done workshops before.
Yeah.
That one with the one over Australia was probably one of my first ones there. But I love working with people and having that yarn while teaching and sharing.
Yeah.
I'm real new to workshops.
Yeah. And you just reminded me as well. Gosh, you've had such a busy year. Your solo exhibition at Logan Art Gallery.
Yeah, that was great. So the Logan Art Gallery show has moved up here to Bundaberg.
Oh, so it's travelled up to...
But that was Moongalba. So that showed the uniforms, the an installation work, as well as the variation prints of the dillies and the ceramics as well. So yeah, it was all in one.
Yeah. And was that exhibition travel elsewhere after Bundaberg?
No, yeah, so no, just to Bundaberg. Yeah, just straight up.
Yeah. Oh wow. You're yeah, very proud, and we're doing a lot of amazing work and very exciting future ahead too.
Yeah, no, it's been great. Especially straight after graduating through my degree. I feel great being able to continue my work and keep sharing it. Yeah.
Oh, I'll just see if we've had any more questions come through. So we've had a question about have you considered a fashion range? Really love your textiles.
No, never actually. I wouldn't even say I'm a good sewer, really.
Did you hand sew the uniforms, or did you use
the printed ones? Yeah. So I work with a lady called Nicola Hooper. She's amazing sewer. So, and then she helped me create the installation works, and without her and amazing her pattern making, and so yes, without her, I don't think I know how the uniforms would actually look. Probably a lot more threads hanging out.
No, threads are good. Yeah. So another question: are you inspired by any particular artists or people in your practice? Ooh. That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. You know what? I would say all Indigenous artists, especially in Australia. They all inspire me, and they all do different works and practices. But especially with that generation of artists before us now, they really paved the way for us. Definitely. And I look up to all of them. Yeah, especially the beautiful Quandamooka artists. I especially look up to them and always reference them throughout all my work. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like I've just been for you for half an hour, just
yarning up.
But it's just been such an so amazing to watch your journey just go from strength to strength.
Yeah, no, it's been an exciting journey, especially now that I'm represented by a gallery in Sydney. Allowing my stories to be told in Sydney as well, and having that travel down there to be shared with the community down there. So exciting. So yeah,
definitely. And is there any upcoming exhibitions attached to a gallery in Sydney?
I recently just had one called Unbroken Bonds with Dylan Mooney. I think the last week was last week. But next year, 100%, I'll have another show. So with N. Smith Gallery in Sydney there. So everyone keep your eyes out.
There's people can also have a look up on the audience, Unbroken Bonds.
It's all should be on the website if you want to go see the work.
Oh, well, we haven't. Let's see if there are any more questions have come through. Oh, they have. I just mine wasn't moving down. I'll just see if I can get through some of these. So how have people responded to your work and the success of the Natsias?
No, everyone's responded amazing. Like I said before, especially when mob reach out, especially when you have a good response from your own community. I feel like it's all our history over there. So bringing recognition to that, I've had a great response. Yeah, it's exciting. It's kind of overwhelming, eh?
Yeah, but that's it though. Like if you do all this work, but if having your own family and community proud of you, that means so much.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because you are creating work, hey, for your mob and for your community. So yeah, when they, when they're excited and happy, it just makes everything better.
Yeah, because it is in a way a responsibility as well as a storyteller, telling a collective story.
Yeah.
To so many experiences. And
yeah, that's it, 100%. Yeah.
So we've had a question around the process of your etchings. Are they soft ground?
Oh, so they're not actually etchings, they're relief and monoprints. And so like it's a new access. So tossing between the two, what I did is actually took direct prints from the garments. So yeah.
And this is
sorry, my iPad's about to die, so I'm just like everyone's plugging it in.
Emergency.
Yeah, we're all good now, thank you.
Oh, that's this is some beautiful feedback too. Your storytelling is so strong, so beautiful. But are you and your contemporaries moving Indigenous art in a new direction?
Do I feel if it's moving in a new direction?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I missed that thing. Yeah.
Are you and your contemporaries moving Indigenous art in a new direction?
Yes and no. I feel like, especially working with other mob, we kind of are moving in a new direction, but I guess not intentionally. We're just doing whatever we can to tell our stories and our histories, and whatever way we feel works best is what direction we'll move in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And culture is always evolving.
That's it. Yeah.
And what other mediums would you like to explore?
Oh, you know what? I was just thinking. I was just talking to someone. I would love to try, working with glass. Just because it's a medium I haven't tried. But right now, I'm currently focused on metalsmithing, and that will be part of my new work. I did metalsmithing in QCA for JS&O, and so I'll be bringing that back in and working with that for my up and coming shows.
Wow! So with the metalsmithing is it forms you're creating, or is it?
Yeah, so what I like to do is I like to take, it's like wax, so you get to take impressions, and that can be impressions of tree, of objects, and that won't damage the item, but it's kind of like you're able to take country with you without taking it away or destroying it. And also that concept of using metal, that form of today's wealth in comparison to our traditional wealth, and bringing them together.
There's so many powerful metaphors too through the mediums you're working with.
I love exploring different mediums. It's exciting to me.
Yeah. Wow. And is that metalsmithing, did you say through QCA? Is that?
Yeah, so through QCA it's called Jewelry and Small Objects, and through there we just learn all these different techniques, and for me casting was one of them. So yeah, and especially taking impressions through wax. Yeah, so yeah, my favorite for sure.
And we've had another question around if you've done any collaborative work.
Well, with Lisi, we did a collaborative for the Quandamooka Festival, and I'm actually currently working on collaboration work with Dylan Mooney while I'm up here in my residency. He came up, and we're doing a few collaborative pieces right now in response to a few things. But yeah, I love collaborating with mob and community. I think it's amazing as always. Yeah.
Yeah. And that'll be an amazing collaboration, you and Dylan.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
No, it's coming along good with the work we've done so far. It looks amazing, and we're so excited about it.
Oh, and yeah, that's right as well. Like whether collaborating is resulting in work being created, or just that coming together and sharing information and sharing story. Like I feel like that's something that you have been doing so much with Mom and Lisi as well, and Kyra with other students, and that constant collaboration.
Yeah. I think that's the basis through a lot of my works, is just that communicating with mob, family and community. You know, I love that concept of sharing voices and sharing our knowledge. And yeah, actually, yeah, well, you say that I've collaborated through all my works then. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to think of collaborating is this working together in both the process, but also what comes out. That collaborating can just be as much as that deep engagement when you're sharing. And
that's it, 100%. Yeah.
And we have some more questions from the audience. If you have any Melbourne shows coming up.
No, not that I know of. I actually think I'm going to be there for the Melbourne Art Fair in February, but I don't have any shows currently coming up in Melbourne that I know of.
They might pop up.
Maybe.
Please come and visit us, Kyra. I'll just see you down here.
I don't know about that cold weather.
Fair enough. Yeah. Although we did have sun today. We're just pretending down here for the moment.
Yeah.
Just jumping in because we're running out of time here. Freya, thank you for reading out those beautiful questions. There were some really good ones in there.
There was, yeah.
So lovely to hear from you both. Thank you so much. I feel like I've got such a better sense of what you do now, Kyra, and the connections that you were talking about with community, and of course, Freya drawing out all that Quandamooka goodness was just so wonderful to hear.
That's the only way to describe it, Quandamooka goodness.
It came across. It was so lovely to hear. It's definitely on my bucket list. I have to come and visit you guys. It's just some of the work coming out of that that course that you're doing, some of the artists. It was so lovely to hear about how many things you've got going on as well, Kyra. That's really encouraging, especially with the world, you know, and the arts the way it is at the moment. It's so lovely to hear that your journey just keeps evolving. It was very special. And I wanted to ask, did you guys want to share any Instagram handles or anything like that for our audience to track you down? Or I think, Kyra, you were saying you're at a gallery. Let us know what it is so we can have a look at what you're doing.
Yeah, so my gallery's Instagram is n.smithgallery. And then also my name is my Instagram, Kyra Mancktelow. Yeah.
Freya too, you've always got beautiful things on your Instagram. I encourage everyone to track you down.
Mine's Freja Carmichael, very straight up.
Love it. Very good. Not tricky. People can find you. Very clever. Yeah. So thank you again for joining us, and thanks to everybody in the audience that that was here tonight, supporters of Agency, and of course the team at Agency. Thank you so much for organising this. A quick reminder that next week's Untold is with the amazing Pedro Wanamiri and Brooke Andrew. So we'll send out an email tomorrow for everyone to register. And we hope to see you then. Take care, everyone. And good night.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.